wanted to share with you a balancing sequence that I learned from a yoga instructor in New Zealand named Donna Farhi. I'm doing a online pelvis and SI joint, sacroiliac joint stability workshop with her. And this is a walking vinyasa. So a vinyasa in yoga is a flow of postures that you link with the breath. And in this particular balancing sequence, the walking movement is just the natural movement that we do. You know, when we walk, we have one leg forward, the opposite arm as we walk. And when we think of that movement in riding, we're going to get that inside leg to outside rein connection because we're working across the diagonal of the body, just like we do when we are seated. So, seated in the saddle. So the slower that you can move through this, the better, because you are going to be engaging the muscles that support the pelvis. So we're going to be standing on one leg, balancing sequence, moving the opposite leg. So as you stand on that leg, you want to make sure, first of all, that you don't lose your hip to the side. So we're engaging that glute med muscle. And then we're going to get this movement going forward and back very slowly with the leg, as if you're walking. And again, the slower that you can move, the better. But there's a little flow, a little sequence that I will teach to you now. So start in a mountain pose. So we're going to have our feet right underneath the hips, hip distance apart. So that's right where the pelvis, the bony points of the pelvis come out. If you just find those bony points of your pelvis, have your hands there, and kind of trace the fingers down, you should come right through the center of the femur, the thigh bone, the center of the shin, right to the center of the ankle. So we don't want the feet out here, because then we're not going to stack up the bones to support us. So we want to have those feet hip distance apart. And that's going to look different for everybody because of the shape of your pelvis. You know, some people are going to have a wider pelvis, which will bring their feet a little wider apart. So work with what works for you naturally. So we're going to start, and a lot of times when I do my yoga videos, I usually mirror image, so that when I'm moving I'm telling you to move your right arm, I'm moving your left arm, so that you see. I'm not going to do that with the sequence, so just kind of listen to the words and not necessarily watching, watch to get the idea of the flow of the movement, but just again thinking of what we're going to be doing, moving with the left and the right. So we're going to start with our left leg is our standing leg, and the right leg is going to be doing the movement. So first of all, we're just going to inhale, find that nice grounded standing posture and alignment in that left leg, and just lift the right heel up. And as you do that, make sure you don't, again, let the hip swing out to the side. So lift that heel up, float the arms up, lift the leg a little higher, arms up a little bit, and then bend the knee, both knees, standing leg a little bit, opposite leg a little bit. And then we're going to start very slowly this movement. So the left arm's going to go forward as the right leg is forward, and you're going to very slowly move the leg back and switch the arms. And you can do, if you like, a little tiny more bend of the knee as you come through center, and then a little straighten like you're lifting up a little bit. So just find this movement, find this balance. And again, the slower that you can do this, the better. So it's recruiting all of those muscles around the pelvis. And of course, in that standing leg, that glute med muscle supporting us. So the next time that the leg is in front, bring the arms out to the side, then bring the knee out to the side. You can flex or point the toes as long as that foot is active. Bring the leg back in, and then release everything down. Come to your mountain pose. So you should feel, again, a lot of activity going on in that standing leg, and then we're getting this movement, this forward movement, flexion and extension in the hip flexor of the leg that's moving. And again, that diagonal movement, just like if we're thinking inside leg to outside rein, you know, get that idea of that movement for us in the saddle. So do the same thing on this second side. You might find the second side is different. Usually we have a stronger leg. You may notice that in the saddle, one's leg may be easier to use or more difficult to use. It can go either way, but you might find the second side's a little different. So again, finding your mountain pose, begin to float the arms up, shift your weight a little to the right without collapsing to the right, lift the heel, and then begin to lift the leg up. Soften the arms a little bit, bend both knees. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll begin with the arm movement so that right arm's going forward as the left leg comes forward, and then we'll transition. This is my harder leg, so you might see me taking a little, hopefully not a tumble. Inhale, coming forward, and exhale. So find a focal point, something to look at. Again, the slower that you can move, the better. And again, you can probably notice that for me, this is my trickier leg to do, so I'm not moving quite as slowly and as in balance, but I'm still trying to keep that glute med active in that standing leg, and again, getting that movement in that left leg as it's going forward and back. So the next time, again, as we come forward, you're going to bring the leg up and then out to the side. Again, toes can be pointed or flexed. And then bring that leg back to center and release everything down. Good. So again, you can do that sequence several times, and if do that and that movement back and forth, do that as long as you can keep good alignment. You know, if you start to struggle and you feel like this is happening, then only do, you know, maybe 2 repetitions on each side, and then go to the other side and then come back. Something that you can do, obviously I have my mat here today, you can do that without a mat. You can do this in your riding boots before you get on, again, just to kind of wake up those parts of the body, that inside leg to outside rein and that glute med muscle. So I wanted to share this with you, and I hope that you will find this helpful in the saddle. Thanks. Bye.